Hey, Super Duper Gamer here, and today I've got Hostage Negotiator on my table. Now this is another single player only game. There's not a whole lot of them out there, so I'm really excited whenever we get a chance to look at one. It's pretty small, but you can see in the screen right now on the table is the entire game. There's a few extra cards that can be swapped in to help with variability and replayability. But other than that, this is the whole game. This is the whole table space it takes. Pretty small box, pretty small footprint, pretty easy rule book. So in this game, you're facing off against one of the abductors. There are 3 that come in the game, and you are the hostage negotiator, and you must use your conversation skills to try to release the hostages and capture or kill the abductor. The box says 15 to 30 minutes per game, which is pretty accurate. It plays fast. Every time I have this out, I play multiple games because they just go so quick, and also because you lose a lot. So you have to play a lot of games to give yourself any chance of winning. So let's get started. Let's play. Okay, so here's what the game looks like on the table. For our abductor, we've chosen Arcane Masua. Now he is suggested to play first. It's because here special rules none. Alright, and this tells us what starting demands to have: 1 major, 1 escape, how many hostages he has in the beginning, 7, and what the threat level is, 4. So over here, you can see we've got 7 hostages in the hostage pool. Our threat level is set to 4. We've got 1 major demand and 1 escape demand. Now these are variable. There's multiple major demands that he comes with in the game, and we just randomly choose 1 to play the game with, and same with escape demands. If we save hostages, they'll be moved up here. If they get killed, they'll be moved down here. There's 2 tracks on here. The threat level track, which is starting at 4, and that serves 2 purposes. 1, it determines how many dice we roll when we do a threat roll, either 2, 1, or 3. And it also determines, once it gets maxed out, he'll start killing hostages, or if we bring the threat level down, we'll start saving hostages. Now on the outside here, we've got our conversation points. We can earn conversation points during the conversation phase, and those are used to buy these conversation cards out of the available area. Their cost being displayed in the lower right. Now here is our starting hand of 6 conversation cards. These are 0 cost cards, and you start the game with these same 6 cards every time. So a typical turn goes: play conversation cards from your hand, make threat rolls to determine the effects of the conversation card. When you're done with the conversation, you have conversation points that you can spend to buy conversation cards from the available area. After you do that, you return all the cards you used this turn to the available area, and then you draw a terror card, and bad things happen. And that's the round sequence, and it continues until you either win or lose the game. To win the game, you have to save at least half the hostages. So in this case, there's 7. We need to save at least 4 hostages, and we also have to capture or kill the abductor. And the last thing that we have to have done is the hostage pool has to be empty. If we've killed the abductor and we've saved 6 hostages, we still haven't won the game because there's still 1 hostage who's out there with an undecided fate, and that is not an acceptable way to leave this situation and call ourselves victorious. If he dies, we win. If we save him, we win. But he can't be left over in the hostage pool. Now, we'll lose the game immediately if over half the hostages die. So if 4 hostages have died, we've lost the game. If the abductor escaped, we lose the game. Or if the terror deck is empty and we're supposed to draw a terror card, then we've lost the game. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is pick a conversation card to play. So there's different things we can do. Revealing a demand, that will make it so that this major demand or this escape demand, whichever one we choose, will be revealed. And that way, we'll know what the abductor wants and whether or not we want to give it to him as part of our negotiating strategy here. We can play cards to try to lower the threat level, or we can play cards to try to gain conversation points, which will help us buy more powerful negotiating cards down here. So let's go ahead and try to reveal a demand. Now when we play a card, we make a threat roll. And that means roll these red dice. And we roll a number of dice as indicated on the threat level here. So you can see we're in this yellow zone, which is 2 dice. So we take 2 dice and roll them. And we got this symbol. Okay, now there's 3 faces to the die. There's blank sides, successful sides, and this. If you roll this, you can play 2 of your conversation cards face down to turn this into a success. So in this case, if we get 2 successes, we can reveal a demand and gain 2 conversation points. If we get 1 success, we have to choose to reveal a demand or gain 1 conversation point. And if we get no successes, we increase the threat level by 1. I'm not trying to increase the threat level right now, so I'm going to go ahead and play 2 cards face down. I'll take a small talk and a keep cool, and give those up face down to turn one of these into a success. So now we have 1 success, which means we will get to reveal a demand or gain 1 conversation point. I'm going to go ahead and reveal a demand. Now it would be nice is if we could go ahead and reveal the second demand, because as you'll see, the game has bad effects for having unrevealed demands. So I'm going to go ahead and play this and do another threat roll. All right, we got that. Now we have 2 cards we could give up, but I'm going to do it. All right. Give up 2 cards to make this a success. Now we reveal this demand. So all the demands are revealed. That'll come in handy. So you can see his major demand. What he wants to do this game is to release the fugitives. So you can spend 4 conversation points to give him this demand, to release the fugitives. And what that will do for you is that during the next spend phase, you can take any 2 cards from the available area without paying their cost. But then this happens. And now, for the rest of the game, anytime the threat level increases, you increase it an additional level. Not for the rest of the game, only until the abductor is eliminated. So if you kill him, then that goes away. And then his escape demand is a bus. He's asking for a bus. And you can spend 4 conversation points to give him his bus, which will give you a rescued hostage, and you'll get an extra die on your next threat roll. But the abductor escapes at the end of the conversation, which is a condition for losing. So if you give him the bus, you better be prepared to win the game during this conversation, otherwise it's over. All right, so you didn't have to play all your conversation cards, but I did, so my hand is empty. Now the next thing you do is you buy cards, but I have no conversation points, so I have no cards I can buy. After you do that, you return all the cards you used this turn to the available area. These are all 0 cost cards, and they go here, and actually on my next turn, I'll be able to buy all of them. And then the next thing you do is you draw a terror card. All right, looks like we're back to square one. Place the threat level marker back on the starting threat level. Ignore this effect if the second command is in play. All right, easy enough. It's already there. So now we're back to the conversation phase. I have no conversation cards, so nothing happens. Okay, so during the spend phase, I have no conversation points, but I can buy all these because they cost 0. So I'm going to go ahead and buy all these, so I have all these 6 again. Now we move on to the terror phase. There is a hostage escape attempt. So you have to make a threat roll. And that's going to be 1, 2, or 3 dice depending on what your threat level is at. And if you get a success, a hostage is saved. If you do not get a success, a hostage is killed. All right, so we're still at 2 dice on our threat rolls. Roll those. No successes. Now, if I had got if I had a card that let me re-roll dice or something on a threat roll, I could do that. But I don't, so it's unsuccessful, and we just killed a hostage. All right, now back to the conversation. I need to do something. I think I'm going to try to get some conversation points by throwing some good small talk at this guy. So I'm going to play the conversation card, small talk, make a threat roll. All right, I got no successes, but I do have that, which I could make it a success. I'm going to go ahead and not do that. I'm going to save my card. So down here, no success. I get +1 conversation point, and the conversation is over. So I do get a conversation point, but now the conversation is over, and we're in the spend phase. And I have 1 point to spend, and there's only one thing I can buy here that costs 1, but it's actually a pretty good card. What I meant was, so apparently I misspoke, and then I can play this, and I can play this after any threat roll to re-roll 1 die. And it can be also played during the terror phase. Sweet, so now I add that to my hand, and then the cards I played get added to the available area, and now to terror phase. I'm getting angry, +2 threat level. Conversation phase. All right, now I have this. This should help me maybe try to do something. Now he just increased the threat level to 6. 1 more increase, and we're down to rolling 1 die. I do not want that to happen, so I'm going to play keep cool. Try to reduce the threat level. Make a threat roll. Still have 2 dice. No. But I do have, don't forget, I do have, what I meant was, reroll 1 of these. No. Okay, that's it. That's all I can do. It's unsuccessful. So you check the conversation card I'm playing. Unsuccess means -1 conversation points. Oh, I was supposed to, okay, it was at 0. I forgot to move that down at the end of the last round. So I'll get it down to -1. All right, but the conversation is not over. I can keep playing. I'm going to do keep cool again. Oh, ooh, I can have that. Now, what are your demands? I already know what his demands are. I don't really need these anymore, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and give those up to turn this into a success. Meaning keep cool reduces the threat level by 1. All right, now the spend phase, how many conversations points do I have? -1. So that's not enough to buy anything, but I can still buy the 0 cost card. So, and I had a small talk left over. So in my hand now I've got 2 small talks, and then all the cards I used go back in the available area. Make sure you get the ones that aren't free back on in their appropriate places. Also, if you're trying to play this somewhere small, like an airplane table, you don't have to have these all splayed out. You can have them just in a deck that you thumb through, especially once you're familiar with the game, because they're the same every time. So once you played a few times, you know what they all are and what you're looking for and how much they cost. All right, Terror Phase. The situation is worsening, +1 threat level. Now, this is why I wanted to get those demands revealed. It would go up twice if we had any unrevealed demands, but we don't. So we're just going to increase the threat level by 1. It's back at 6. Now we're on the conversation. All I can do is small talk. I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to try to small talk this guy. 2 successes. All right, that's good for, sorry, that's a 0. I keep forgetting to reset that. That's good for 3 conversation points. All right, now I can save this for next turn. Okay, so spend phase, I'm going to buy all these 0 ones, of course. Now I have 3 points. There's a 3.1 here called Minor Extraction. I can use that to start saving hostages, but I'm really worried about this threat level, so I'm actually going to get a Just Stay Calm, because that can help me reduce the threat level further. And I'm going to get a What I Meant Was, because that was only cost 2. And What I Meant Was is a cost 1. So I'm going to spend my 3 to get both of those. And then the card I played goes back on the available area. Alright, Terror Phase. It's a minor demand, okay. So this gets put out, and I can concede during any conversation for gain 1 extra die on my threat rolls until the conversation ends. But my penalty for conceding is that when any threat roll is failed during the conversation is automatically over. You know what? I've got a lot of cards, so this could be a really long conversation. I'm going to go ahead and use that right now. So I was at 2, so I gained +1, so now I'm going to have threat rolls of 3. And I'm going to do Just Stay Calm, try to reduce this threat level. Alright, I got 1 success and 1 4, so I'm going to go ahead and give up 2 cards to make that 4 a success. So that is 2 successes, which gives me -2 threat level. And I'm going to play next, Keep Cool, try to reduce the threat level a bit. 2 successes, that's good for -1 threat and +1 conversation points. Let's do it again. I'm going to use up all my cards this time because I've got this extra die only during this conversation. 1 success and a 4. I'm just going to take that. I'm going to do 1 success, which is good for -1 threat. If we get to S, okay, if we get to S or 1, now we're rolling 3 dice for our threat rolls. But also, if we're on S and it says to reduce the threat level, we're saving hostages. So that's what I'm going for right now. But this is all I have left. Small talk and What I Meant Was. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and stop there. So I get the free card. I have 1 conversation point, so I can buy a What I Meant Was. And then all these go back in the available area. Don't forget to put the cards that cost money back in where they are so you don't accidentally grab them for free next time. Alright, and a terror card. This is going nowhere. Kill a hostage. If any unrevealed demands, +1 threat level. Alright, hostage dies. Back to the conversation. I was able to pick up a small talk and know What I Meant Was. So I don't have any way to try to reduce the threat level. Don't forget this is 0. Even if I didn't spend it, it gets reset to 0 every turn, every conversation. And I lost my extra die. So all I can do right now is try to gain conversation points. Alright, that's good for +2 conversation points. Okay, now the other thing I could do is I could take a card and I could just put it face down for +1 conversation points. But even if I fail this roll, I still get 1 conversation point. So I'm just going to play it and roll. And 1 conversation point is the worst thing that could happen. But I got 2. Alright, so now I have 4 conversation points. Now I can buy something maybe a little better. I could do a Bold Buy, which is capable of possibility of reducing threat by 3. Now I'm feeling pretty confident because I have 2 What I Meant Was still in my hand. So I'm going to buy a Bold Buy for 4. That's all my conversation points. And I also get the cards that cost 0 back in my hand. And the cards I just played now go into the 0 pile. So you have to make sure that you pick up the 0 pile before you put the cards you played back in the available area. Alright, and now, Terror. I'm growing impatient. Draw and resolve the next red Terror card. Oh no. I'm getting angry. +2 threat level. Alright, so it goes from 2 to 4. Alright, so this is looking kind of like exactly where we started. Threat level 4, except now we have 2 hostages dead. We've moved a lot through the terror deck. I have revealed his demands. Don't forget, I could use 4 conversation points to do any of those things. I might need to release the fugitives. That's what I think I need to do. I need to get some conversation points and then release the fugitives. But let's start with a bull buy. Let's see if we can do this. I really don't want to play what are your demands because if I fail the roll, it increases the threat level and it's not worth that risk just to get these conversation points. All right, keep cool. Keep cool, keep cool. 2 successes, -1 threat and +1 conversation points. Let's do it again, keep cool. 1 success, -1 threat level. Okay, a bold buy. This is what I'm going. If we get -3, first of all, that would put us in the triple dice area, which would be sweet, but also it would save a hostage because we only have 2 spaces to go, so it'd go 1, 2, and then 3 would be save a hostage. Let's see if we can do this. I've got 2 what I meant was. Not good. Okay. What I meant was. Okay. What I meant was. Well, there we go. So I failed a bold lie. And the penalty for failing is +3 threat level. So it goes from 2 to 5. And now all I have what are your demands? Do I actually have I have a conversation point. Okay, so I'm gonna play both these for conversation points, which puts me up to 3. You know, play them face down for 1 conversation point each. And end of turn. Okay, so now I'm gonna get the 0 cost cards and I'm gonna spend my 3 on minor extraction. Let's see if we can get some hostages rescued. All right, and then all the cards I used go back into the available area. This is going nowhere. This is going nowhere. Kill a hostage. All right, that's 3 hostages dead. If 1 more hostage dies, game over. Minor extraction. All right, I'm still got 2 dice on my threat rolls. 1 success and a 4. I could give these up to save an extra hostage. I'm gonna do it because also the 1 success is not just save a hostage, it's also increased threat level by 1, and I don't want that to happen right now. So I'm gonna use these 2 cards face down to make my 4 success, and now I get to save 2 hostages. All right, and so I get all the 0 cost cards back. Sorry, I keep forgetting to move that down. All right, that was at 0. So I don't have any conversation points to buy cards with. So now all the cards I used go back in the available area. And terror phase. Hostage escape attempt. Make a threat roll. Success, he's good. Fail, and okay. If a hostage dies, it's over. I don't have anything to try to affect this roll in my hand. Success. Hostage is rescued. All right, we only need to rescue 1 more hostage. And then we're good on hostages, and then all we have to do is capture or kill the abductor. Which, if I can do this, if I can get 4 conversation points, I could have the sniper take him out. That's what that's what I'm going for right now. So I don't have any good conversation point cards. But we still have another turn. All right, small talks are coming up next round. I'm gonna try to keep the threat down to make sure I have dice to roll. So I'm gonna keep cool. 1 success and a 4. All right, I'll give up my what are your demands to make that. Oh wait, no. Keep cool doesn't really matter. I'll just take the 1 success and go -1 threat level, and then I'll play my next keep cool. 2 successes. All right, -1 threat level and 1 conversation point. I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna hold on to these as cards that I can use to make a 4 success later. I'm gonna spend my 1 conversation point on what I meant was reduce my conversation points to 0. Grab all the 0 cost cards, and then put the cards I used back in the available area, and draw a terror card. Now this is the last one. This is always at the bottom. There's 10 red cards, and then there's a pivotal event below it. So that means this is the last conversation, the last round. I see you for what you are. Immediately move the threat level marker to K or S, whichever is currently the closest. It's S. Oh wow, that's really good for me. Okay, so it's on S. This is the last round. Now the last round's a little special. If I do something like gain conversation points, then I can spend those during the conversation, pick up a new card, and play it still during this conversation. But if I don't save this hostage and capture or kill the abductor right now, then we'll get to the terror phase, and I'll be supposed to draw a terror card, and they're unarmed there, which is a loss condition. So I need to save 1 hostage and capture kill the abductor. Now saving a hostage is easier than it sounds because all we need to do is reduce threat by 1, and that'll save a hostage. but I don't have any cards to reduce threat by 1. Like I was just explaining, I can buy cards during the conversation. I have 0 points. These cost 0 points. I'm going to go ahead and buy these Keep Cools. I'm going to play a Keep Cool, and I'm going to roll. And I actually get to roll 3 dice because I'm down here in the 3 dice area of the threat track. All right, no successes, but I got a 4. I'm going to give up my... Yep, I'm going to give up my What Are Demands cards to make that a success. So reduce the threat level by 1. It's already maxed out on the S, so instead of it can't reduce any further, so I'm going to save a hostage. All right, now hostages, I've saved at least half the hostages, and the hostage pool is empty. Now all we need to do is capture or kill the abductor. How do you do that? There's no way to do that with these cards. What you need is Sniper Take the Shot, where it says Abductor Eliminated. Or, all units get in there now, Abductor Eliminated. But notice, that's only on the double success. So Sniper Take the Shot looks like our best bet to eliminate the abductor. So how do we get that? It costs 7. We can't use this because this says during the next spend phase, and we're not going to make it to the next spend phase. At the end of this conversation, it's over. So we need to get to 7 with this. There's 3, 6, 7. We need all of these to get double successes. But remember, we have a What I Meant Was, and we have 3 dice on our rolls. And also, we can try to buy this card. It costs 2, and then we can use it to get 4. That's a possibility. All right, let's start going for it. Let's start with small talk. We got 3 dice. 1 success. All right, that's plus 2 conversation points. Let's use those to buy just a few more minutes. That costs 2, so we're back to 0. But now we're gonna play at just a few more minutes. Threat roll. 2 successes, so that's good for 4 conversation points. So now we're up to 4, we just need 3 more. All right, let's play a small talk. If we get double success here, that'll take us to 7. All right, 3 successes, but it doesn't matter. Double success is as good as it gets. So double success, that's 3 conversation points. Now we're at 7. We can use 7 to buy Sniper Take the Shot. Now we're gonna play this card, and we need just 1 success to get Abductor eliminated. But then the conversation is over, but that's all right because we already met all the other conditions for winning. So we pay 7 conversation points to buy this. We tell our sniper to take the shot. He's vulnerable. He's got no hostages left. Sniper, take the shot. Success. Abductor eliminated, end conversation. Boom! Alright, that's it for my playthrough of Hostage Negotiator. I hope you enjoyed watching me play the game, and I hope you come away with a better understanding of this game. So, my review. Things I didn't really like about this game. There's almost no art. There's a little bit. The box cover has nice art. The graphic design that they made for their title, for the Hostage Negotiator name, is pretty good. But the cards are all the same. You know, every single card is the same, and they all have no art. They've got a little CGI guy up in the corner who's like, I mean, he's okay, nothing special. But that's, you know, that's pretty much it. Oh, so this is the art, yes. Every abductor actually has a picture. And that's pretty much the only art I found in the game. And I did like that, but overall, just no art. When I lay it out on my table and I look at it, it looks bland. To some people, that's not a big deal. But to me, I really appreciate having art in a game, and I really appreciate a game looking pretty on the table. So just something that I'm not super into, you start with the same 6 conversation cards every time. All the conversation cards are available every game. So it feels like every game, it feels like you have the same options. Your options feel very limited. You start with the same 6. There's only one cost card. It's the same one every game. Now there are 3 different 2-cost cards, so you can kind of mix it up there, choosing which one of those to grab. There's only one 3-cost card. So basically every game, it sort of feels like you're doing the same thing. You're trying to get the same conversation cards to accomplish the same goal. And it just feels like, you know, reveal a demand, like, yep, what are your demands? I gotta get successes on what are your demands to get these demands revealed. I gotta get successes on small talk to get some conversation points. I gotta get successes on keep cool to try to keep the threat level down so you don't just start killing hostages. And it's the same every game. And also, okay, so the last thing I'll say that's sort of holding this game back for me is the theme's not drawing me in. I don't feel excited by trying to take down this abductor by being a hostage negotiator, trying to take down this abductor, trying to save the hostages. Now, things I like about this game does do a lot of stuff right. It's pretty well designed. So the things I like, they added to this game that they didn't have to. They could have released this game in a much worse way than it is. There's 3 abductors in the game. So, and they made special rules for each of them. So they play differently, and it's changing the abductor is fun, and it makes the game feel a little different. Also, major demands. I only have 1 out for this game. Well, there's 3. There's 3 different ones. You randomly pick one. Same with escape demands. There's like 6 of those. You just randomly pick one, and it's going to change what your option is here. And I could have given him this bus. If all I needed was to save a hostage, I could have given him this bus to save a hostage and give myself an extra die roll in my kill attempt. But I didn't have to. But in a different game, this isn't going to be the escape card. It's going to be something totally different, and you're going to have a different option here. And that might change your strategy on how you try to go about actually winning the game. They don't really come into play a whole lot until you're like on the line ready to win. So when I said everything feels the same, that's like the first half of the game. Everything feels the same every time for the first half of the game. But then these major demands and escape demands change sort of the ending of the game. And that is very appreciated. Also, the games play super fast. So one thing I don't like, I think I forgot to mention this, super luck based, right? Like your luck can just go terrible and there's nothing you can do about it. But one thing that's good is the games play super fast. I get this game out and I'll play 8 games in a row, and it takes, only a couple hours. So where that's good is if the luck goes super against you, the game's over really quick and you just start over. Right? And then you're back to square zero, and maybe hopefully you'll get some better luck next time. Okay, so this is a really popular game. For me, not my favorite, but it's not that bad either. I'm kind of torn between 5 or 6. I think I listed it as a 5, and really the thing holding me back is just how bland it looks, and it's because all these cards just look the same. This was definitely a Kickstarter game, right? So I don't think it was made by like a big company. So whoever did this graphic design, it's not bad. It's better than I could have done. Like I'm imagining it being not a big company, but like sort of kind of homemade, and it's really good for being homemade, right? Like on these cards, you've got the barbed wire, the background is varying throughout the card, and like some bullet hole up here. While having all that, they still made it very clear the title and the effects of the card. So the design is well done. There's just no art. I mean, you just look at the table and it looks like all the cards are the same. That bores me, and it makes me unexcited about the game. All right, that's it for Hostage Negotiator. I'll see you next time.